Hey, if you're looking to create a set of financial projections for a Planet Fitness style gym, or maybe an Anytime Fitness or Gold's Gym, or one of these kind of large scale, high number of members, maybe a low cost monthly membership type of gym model, then you've come to the right place, because we have built a financial projection template built specifically for this type of gym model. And I'm going to walk you through how this template works, how to fill it out, and how to get it ready to present to an SBA lender or potential investor, and really kind of talk you through that step by step. Before I do that, just a couple of things. One, we put a link to the template in the description of the video below, so you can grab that and follow along. Also, if you stick around to the very end and hear me kind of drone on about maybe not the most exciting topic here, financial projections, I know that's not the most exciting thing, but if you stick around to the end as our thank you to you, we're going to give you a discount code. So we'll give you access to that at the end of the video. Also, just a little bit of background on me. My name's Adam Hoeksema. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub, and we help founders and business owners create financial projections for raising capital from SBA lenders, from private investors, and really kind of anything in between. And so my background, I spent a little over a decade as an SBA lender, where during my time at that SBA lender, we approved over 1,500 SBA loans. So I'm taking that experience from the SBA perspective and using that in my work here at ProjectionHub and helping clients create their financial projections. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the details of this particular template. All right, so I am starting here kind of with the end in mind. We are on the At a Glance tab here. This is kind of the end of the process. So after you have created all of your projections, entered in all of your assumptions, this is where you're going to show up here, and you'll see some key performance indicators here: average number of members, whether you're breaking even that month, the annual churn rate of members. You're also going to see your profit and loss at a glance, some key ratios, some graphs and charts that you can pull into a business plan or a pitch deck. You're also going to get a 5-year income statement summary, a 5-year cash flow summary, 5-year balance sheet, and then your income statement and cash flow and balance sheet all broken down by month for each of the 5 years. Now, in order to produce all these reports, we have a little bit of work. So we're going to come back to our input assumptions tab here. I'm going to walk you through. So every cell that's highlighted in blue is an assumption that you can change without breaking anything in the model. So we've got our big box gym here. We're starting on January 1st. Now you're going to likely need to put in some equity into the deal, whether that's your personal investment or raising equity from outside investors, but you're probably going to need some equity. So we've assumed here $350,000 in this example, invested in month 1 or at the beginning of the model. For accounts receivable terms, I would just keep this at 100%. You are going to receive payment for your memberships or classes that you're providing upfront, right? You're not going to let someone utilize the gym and then invoice them later. So you're going to get paid up front. Now on the accounts payable side, this is when you pay your expenses. Now this is a little different. You might have some of your expenses on a credit card. So you might pay for the expense now, you incur the expense today, put it on a credit card, but you might have 30 days to pay that card. So you have some kind of cash flow relief here. And so we usually put kind of that 80-20 rule. 80% of expenses you pay in the month incurred, 20% maybe in the following month. Now you might have a little bit of inventory if you sell, protein powders or merchandise or drinks, snacks at the gym. You can include some opening inventory there. And then we usually just keep like 10% average inventory carried on the balance sheet. So that what that's going to do is just replenish your inventory balance automatically on the balance sheet. So I think, again, you could probably just leave that at a small percentage there. Now for fixed assets, this is where we're going to probably spend some money, especially for one of these kind of big box style gyms. You're going to have probably substantial leasehold improvements. So let's say you're renting a space. Let's say you put $500,000 into building out the space and getting it ready, and then another $500,000 in gym equipment. And then maybe if it is a franchise, if the model you are participating as a franchise, you may have a franchise fee here as well. We put the life expectancy for all these items at 10 years. That just means we're going to depreciate or amortize those expenses over the useful life or over that 10 years. Always put month one here. Again, if it's a startup, putting month one for those expenses. And then we have an SBA loan here for $1.5 million at a 10% interest rate over a 10-year term. Now this green box down here is going to tell you whether it thinks you have sufficient cash based on your projections. So it's going to look at, this first thing here is it's going to look at the months until you reach a break even or positive cash flow. So it's going to calculate that automatically. And this is all based on the assumptions that you're putting in. And then it's going to say, okay, if it's going to take you 13 months to break even on this model, you're going to need X amount of dollars in working capital to cover losses during those first 13 months. So in this example, it thinks we need $500,000 in working capital. We have $1,030,000 in need for fixed assets, and then it recommends a buffer. It kind of rounds that up. So it says our total cash need here is just under 1.7 million, and we've got cash from investments of $350,000 and a $1.5 million loan, giving us a total of that 1.85. So it says, hey, starting cash is sufficient. So what I would recommend you do, don't worry too much about this table until you're done. Once you have completed the projections, come back, look at this table and see, if it thinks your starting cash is sufficient. All right, let's look at the revenue model here. So we're going to set, again, I'm kind of have a Planet Fitness style gym in mind. So a very large, high number of potential members. So we're going to say maximum number of members here is 12,000. We're going to have a heavy advertising spend here. So you can set your ad spend per month here. You can set an annual growth rate on that ad spend and then a cost to attract a new customer. So let's say we're spending, down here, once after kind of our opening advertising, we're spending $10,000 a month in advertising. Cost to attract a new customers around $50. That's going to bring us, roughly 200 new gym members a month from paid ads. But we're also going to have new gym members from word of mouth, social media, organic sources as well. And so we can set those here in this row. Now, a gym is going to be very seasonal in terms of getting new members, right? We all know January 1st comes around, everyone says, get back to the gym, New Year's resolution. And so what we give you the ability to do here is set the expectation of new members for the first 24 months. We figure the first year is kind of an anomaly. It's going to be its own thing based on it being the first year. And the second year then is where we kind of start the pattern, the seasonal pattern. So in this example, since we have a January start month, it's at month 13 is January again of the following year. We said, hey, we're going to get a big influx of new members. So we're going to have 1,000 new members in January, 250 in February, and then we're going to get back down to just the norm, 200 new every month, maybe until November, December. No one's starting a new gym membership in November, December. And so we've got very few, and then it ramps back up again, and it follows that same seasonal pattern in the next year. Now, what we're doing here then for those future years is we're actually applying a negative growth rate here. And so it's going to take the number of members you had in January of the previous year, and you can see here, 950 at the beginning of year 3. So it's taken that 1,000, decreasing it by that 5%, because we actually think it's going to be harder over time to get new members in this kind of model. You're going to, over time, everyone that has everyone's already heard about the gym, everyone's already checked it out. So it's going to be harder and harder to get new members is kind of the reasoning for why we put a negative growth rate there. So here's how you calculate your total new members and then an annual churn rate. So what percentage of those members do you think are going to cancel? So we have a 25% annual churn rate, giving us a total number of active members or regular users here. Next, we have our membership plans and classes. So let's say we have a monthly membership plan, a drop-in. So maybe there's just an option for someone to just drop in for a workout and pay a one-time fee. and then maybe an annual fee. So this is different than an annual membership. We're saying this is an annual one-time fee that a client would pay. And again, this is kind of following that Planet Fitness model in this situation. So let's say we've got a monthly membership here for a single location is priced at $12 a month. We're saying 75% of users are subscribing or members at that level. And on average, we think those users are going to use the gym 5 times a month. And then we're going to have another monthly membership, the premium option, where you get access to all the locations if it's a chain of gyms. And then that price could be $25 a month with 25% of customers using that level. And then we've got a drop-in pass that you can get for $10. 5% of users, of active users, are going to be drop-in members. And then this annual fee that would be charged to 100% of the members are going to have to pay that once a year annual fee of $39. And you can set a price increase here, annual price increase. Now, this section is really important. So you're going to notice total cash collected here, $45,000 in the first month, versus total membership and class revenue is only $15,000. So what's the big difference, right? Well, this is an accounting thing. So if you don't want to know accounting details or generally accepted accounting principles, fast forward here. But I think it is important from a cash flow perspective to understand this. So you are going to get paid upfront the annual fee, right? This $39, and you have a bunch of new members in that first month, right? And so they're all getting charged that annual fee. But you're only going to earn a portion, 1/12 of that annual fee every month for the next year. So you don't get to count all of that as revenue. You get the cash right away, right? So it's good for cash flow, but from what's actually recognized as earned revenue, only 1/12 of the $39 is going to be recognized each month going forward. So that's why you're going to get that big difference. Now, eventually you kind of see that kind of levels out here. It's very apparent when you have a big influx of new customers, because they're all paying that annual fee at the beginning. And then so you'll see it again in month 13, right? So we see a big influx in total cash collected because you get a bunch of new members in January paying that annual fee. So, all right, that's it. Probably enough on the accounting here, but you have the ability to put in other revenue here as well. So you could have food and drink or merchandise, other revenue sources. You can put in what percentage of members are going to purchase, how many times a month will they purchase, what's the average purchase amount when they do purchase, and then what's the cost of goods sold percentage for those items that you're selling. And that's really it on the revenue and cost of goods sold side. So we are almost done here. This is our operating expenses now. This is pretty straightforward. You can set your various expense categories up here, and you can set up to 10 different expense categories and then select those expense categories from this box here. You can set the specific expense line items here, and then you're able to set whether the expense is a fixed dollar amount, a percentage of revenue, or a per employee expense. So in this example, I thought, hey, for the first 3 months, let's say the landlord gives us no rent. So we don't have to pay rent for the first few months as part of signing a long-term lease, perhaps. And then you start your rent, and you can have your monthly utilities, equipment, and so on. Now, again, for assuming this is a franchise model, let's say the franchise royalties are a percentage of revenue. So we selected percent of revenue here. We set that to 0.07, or 7% of total revenue will go towards franchise fees. You'll also notice in years 2 and beyond, the expenses increase. That is applying this 3% annual inflation rate. Now, if you think it's going to be a higher inflation rate or a lower inflation rate, you can change that assumption as well. All right, now onto our last input tab. This is our salaries tab. You can set a general manager, assistant manager. You can also set their salary, their employer taxes, any benefits you're offering, what month that position is starting and ending, and then how many of that particular employee you'll have, and what the annual raise might be. So for example, let's say we start with a general manager, but we don't hire this assistant manager until the beginning of year 2 or month 13. And then the front desk staff, let's say you have several front desk staff, so you can set that to 4. We have 4 front desk staff all at this same salary level, and so on, right? So you can see the different salary positions we have in there. Now, that really brings us back to our at a glance tab. So we've filled everything out. Now, the thing I want you to make sure to do at this point, once you've filled everything out, I would always make sure you take a look at the cash flow statement here. Take a look at this cash at beginning of period each month. Just make sure that never goes below 0. If it goes below 0, you're out of money. You don't want to go there. So that's a good thing to always check. Make sure that stays positive. And really, I think that is everything I wanted to share. So if you have any questions, or if you kind of watch this video and you're like, I just want somebody to fill this thing out for me based on my plans. I want to describe my plans and have someone fill it out. We are here for you to offer that service if you would like that. We have a template fill out service. So just reach out to us at support@ProjectionHub.com and we can help with that. Also, if you have any questions, you bought the template, have any questions as you're going through it, we offer free email and video support. So let us know how we can help answer your questions. And then finally, as a thank you for sticking around to the very end, if you go to the description of the video below, there's going to be a link to a form. If you fill out that form, we are going to email you our most up-to-date coupon code so that you can get a discount on this particular template as our thank you for sticking around to the end. And finally, if you thought the video was helpful at all, I'd love it if you gave us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Helps us a lot get the word out to other folks. So we appreciate that, and let us know how we can help. Thanks.